All right, good evening. We're out here in the greenhouse. We have bought another one of these, actually two more of these shelving units from Lowe's. It's called General, what do they call that thing?
Look on that label right there.
Okay, it's called 5-tier Commander Shelving Unit. We put one of these together over there yesterday. These are $90. Once you put the first one together, it wasn't hard, even the first one, but it is a piece of cake to slap this thing together. And we've got our first tote of olive cuttings in here. And we got another one put together over here, and then we got a third one. So, as I said, this will give us a great deal of surface area to put our cuttings. And another thing about it is this. Well, it doesn't take up near as much room. All of this is essentially not used in a greenhouse, all of this space up here. But it also you know, when the sun comes in here, because of the shelves and all, these are partly shaded, which is good for cuttings. And I've got some olive cuttings from yesterday still here. They're warm. It feels like it's about a 90-degree water, 85, 90-degree water. Just barely warm. But I wanted to talk about this. I saw this, a lot of the guys out there on the YouTube fig, I'll call it the fig community. There's Ross the Fig Boss, and I can't think all of their names, but I've enjoyed their videos very much, and they're teaching people how to root figs. And I do have a fondness in my heart for figs because my grandmother loved figs, and she used to root figs. And we had some very nice fig trees growing up, and I think they were brown turkey. I don't know that for a fact, but they were, as long as they didn't get rained on a lot when they were ripening, they were just absolutely magnificently beautiful, tasty morsels. But I've got a couple of figs now. I got a couple of LSU figs that I bought from down in Florida, Just Exotics, or whatever the name of the place is.
Just Fruits and Exotics.
Just Fruits and Exotics. And I'm going to be getting in touch with some of these other guys and on the fig bid and some of these guys and try to get some cuttings. But I did get a Smith fig cutting on fig bid back during the summer. And it was a very nice, there were two pieces of it, 8 inches long, about as big around as my finger. Had nice buds on them, you know, and I stuck them in the window and potted them, tried to root them, and they sprouted pretty quickly, and the leaves came out and messed around and died then. And of course, I may have mistreated them by taking them out into a more sunnier area. I didn't put them in full sun, but I have since learned from watching these videos that one of the problems is that if you get the fig cuttings that have really good buds on them, they might sprout out and grow leaves before the plant grows roots. So you have to try to figure out a way to, you want the roots to start first. And one of the ways it seems like is this. The plant will not bud out and grow leaves until it's fairly warm. You know, in other words, it feels the spring and the summer coming. So that would indicate that hardwood or semi-hardwood cuttings might do better if you started them in late winter, February, early March, and try to let those roots get growing, and then the buds would come out. But anyway, you can root figs any time of the year. But a lot of those guys were using this PROMIX BX PROMIX and swearing by it. So, and I did order some, I had the rooting hormone that, did we bring that back out here? I had the rooting hormone that, where is that stuff? That I got at Lowe's. I'll show it to you. This is what I used on my olives yesterday. This is just the regular stuff. Garden Safe Take Root powder. But there's another one that's a gel, and I ordered some of that from Amazon today. I forgot what it's called. Do you remember? But anyway, it's a gel.
Clonex.
Clonex, that's right. It's a purple gel.
Yeah.
I think that might stick to the cutting more. So I'm going to try some of that also. But it's a fact that figs will also root without anything on them if you do them at the right temperature, the right time of year, and the right rooting medium. But I am convinced that the rooting hormone does stimulate the root growth. You will get a higher rate of cuttings that develop roots, and they will have more roots on them than those that you do not use the rooting hormone on. So you can do it without it, but I think you'll get I'm just going to say a 25% increase in viability if you use the Clonex or this stuff right here. Whatever it is, the one you get at Lowe's. There's a whole bunch of them, but the Clonex seems to be a good one. And apparently that gel does a better job. You paint it on with a small paintbrush, and it does a better job at getting into the crooks and crannies and nooks and crannies of the end of the root of the piece of rooting that you've wounded with your knife. And so I think it might get a better absorption, we'll say. So the PROMIX BX, I'm going to tell you right now the ingredients. Now get this. That item right there cost me $105. This is a product of Canada. It weighs about 60 pounds. It's a heavy bale of stuff packed in there real tight. General purpose growing medium. Well, this is what was odd to me. This stuff here, being a product of Canada, is 75 to 85% sphagnum moss. It's almost pure sphagnum moss. And it's got perlite in it. And it doesn't say how much because you've only got 15% left after 85. So it's got perlite, ground limestone as a pH adjuster, a wetting agent, and this mycorrhiza. MYCORRHIZAE, mycorrhiza or rhiza. It's some kind of I'll call it a bug. I don't know what it is. Some kind of a bug that they put on it. Some kind of a living organism that they say also stimulates root growth. It's something that, uh-oh, I dropped my microphone. It's something that grows in the ground. All right, I have dropped my microphone and I've dropped my magnet. And I am going to try to find it. It's got to be around here somewhere. All right, we're going to pause this camera while I try to find my magnet.
Okay.
There it is right there. Watch this. It flipped over on it. Now let me tell you, this is called a what do you call this microphone? A do you remember? You don't remember. I don't either. It's a. I'm going to go look at the box and show you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this microphone. Do a little review on this. This improves the sound quality. Here's the microphone here. The little magnet, a rare earth magnet. You slip that on behind your shirt and it clips on there, but you saw how easy. I've dropped this off several times. So you got to be careful. You're not going to get out and throw a football with this on you. You're going to lose it. So when you do get this Lark microphone, this is the microphone and this is the receiver that sticks into the camera, something like this. This is the receiver. We like it, and it has a very nice case. My phone sound system started messing up, and also you had to stay by the phone. But this way you can walk 100 yards off and still be heard, because this microphone sends it to the receiver that attaches to the phone. But this, here's the microphone. This magnet that sticks on here, I don't think it's got a half a pound pull to it. Quarter of a pound. It's not, it doesn't stay, it can get knocked off real easy. So you'll have to be aware of that. Okay. Back to the PROMIX BX. It's 85% sphagnum moss. Well, you can get that at Lowe's. I got a bag of it right here. Product of Canada, the same thing. They call it black gold. That right there is something that's been rotting in the ground up there in Canada for thousands of years. It is pure organic matter. Very nice stuff. I don't think I paid about $25 for this right here. So basically, you can make your own PROMIX. 85% sphagnum moss, 15% perlite. I got this perlite at the agricultural store. That's a huge bag of that stuff. I think I paid $30 for that gigantic bag of... Now, when I mixed my rooting soil the other day for my olive trees, I put half and half by volume. I put 1 unit of that and 1 unit of that right there. No, I actually put this. I put 1 unit of perlite and 1 unit of this garden soil, Miracle Grow in-ground. And that's made out of pine bark, and it's probably got some of that sphagnum moss in it. Bottom line, you can root in regular dirt out of the garden. You can root in sand. You can root in pure perlite. You can root in pure sphagnum moss. You can root in just about anything. Is this worth $100? That's what I'm getting at. Is this worth $100? Show you how the front of it looks. One thing, you got to figure out a place to store it if you're going to have it. You do a lot of root, a lot of cuttings in here. In this stuff here is compacted very tight, so you can get a lot of rootings in thing right here. There's how it looks, okay? Now I'm going to open it. Product of Canada. And they've got it in English and French, because that's the way Canada does things. I'm going to open it right here on the BX. I do keep my knife sharp. Don't know if that's the best way to do it or not, but that's the way I'm going to do it. And you can see that it's got perlite in it. And it's got the... Let me get my blue bucket. Got me another blue bucket at Lowe's. I like these because they're a lot handier than the 5-gallon buckets. And we looked all over Lowe's for these for the last 2 times that we were there. And we could not get any satisfaction. But we finally found them in the paint department on an obscure shelf all by themselves. I'm not going to measure it, but it's going to take more than that. I'm going to get one more handful. How many of these buckets are in here? I don't know. But I'm going to wet it now. I have no idea how many of these buckets is in here. I feel confident in saying that this is $1's worth of this stuff right here. Could you make it yourself cheaper? Definitely. But I don't like messing with that perlite because it's dusty and it is not friendly to your lungs. So somebody working in the factory up there in Canada, I suppose they have machines doing this mixing. But I almost feel like it would be worth it to pay the extra money to get this stuff already mixed up. Big mosquito right there. Is anybody going to watch this out there in YouTube world? In the worldwide world of YouTube? I have no idea. But there's probably a few people that don't mind spending their time looking at something like this. And it's beginning to get a little wet, a little damp. Now the gurus on YouTube, Ross the Fig Boss and Mike, different ones. I'm sorry I don't know your names, but I do look at your videos, and I'll be contacting some of you guys, see if I can get some cuttings from you of some of these different figs. Now back to my grandmother, born in 1901. She was all of 4 feet 11 inches tall. 4 feet 11 inches. Now you see how come I'm so tall. One side of my family was big tall people, and the other side were smallish, fine-boned people. And that's how I ended up being a small person. Now I'm beginning to get this stuff to the point where I can actually squeeze. See here, this is what they say. I'm squeezing a little bit out. I'm satisfied that this is the correct wetness right here. Now back to my grandmother and her figs. She was a member of the Ladies' Garden Club there in our town. And I observed her rooting figs. Now, she didn't do it a lot, but when they moved from the old house to the new house, she took some cuttings from those old brown turkey figs and she just went out the kitchen door, laid it down on the ground, dug a little hole about 6 or 10 inches deep, covered it up with the leaves still coming out, and she put the garden hose on it and put it on drip. And that's all she did. And she did not ever turn it off either. So the idea that you got to be watching out for being too wet and all, I don't know how she did it, but she never turned it off. She left that garden hose on there until that tree started growing. And that particular tree, some 30 years later, my grandmother had passed away by then. Water dripping just a little. Had grown into a monster tree. It had actually gotten overgrown, and I didn't know enough about that kind of stuff then to go out and prune it and take care of it. I know now a lot more about trees. All right, this is the stuff I've got mixed up. I don't know that it's any better than, here's the thing I was going to put them in. These are some smallish pots here. And I got some olive rootings in these pots. I don't think I've got enough stuff, but I was just guessing anyway. So I saved these little pots from the olive trees that I got that they came in. And a lot of people, they say go to a lot of trouble to wash these things out and sterilize them in bleach and stuff like that. I've never done anything like that. I just knocked the spider webs off of them, knocked the black widows off of them, and use them. This is not an operating room. To me, it's not. It's a greenhouse. Well, that was a pretty good guess, wasn't it? I almost got all of them that I had ready here. All right, gonna pause just a minute and I'm gonna mix up just a couple of handfuls more so I can make these things full. All right, I mixed up a few more handfuls of this stuff. I like to put it in. I don't like to get it real tight, but I notice a lot of the people on there, they're always saying how light, just barely get it in there and all. Back to my grandmother's fig tree. That house is gone now, and there's a major highway running through where the fig tree was. A major highway right through the fig tree. Of course, the fig tree got torn down when they tore down my grandmother's house so that they could put the major highway through there, so people could rush up and down the roads and get to Savannah faster. And when they get to Savannah faster than they used to be able to get there, I suppose they will be better off by getting to Savannah faster than they used to. But they had to tear down a fig tree to do it. And a house. And that was my grandmother's dream house, by the way. It was a very nice house. My grandfather had a very nice pond there by the house. And when I was a kid, I used to bass fish out there. And I used to regularly catch bass in that pond. 10 pounds, 12 pounds, probably up to 14 pounds. It was just the way it was back then. And we would just throw them back. It wasn't anything. That pond is not there anymore because there's a major highway going through it. But before they tore the fig tree down and filled in the pond with the 14-pound bass in it, I got some cuttings from that fig tree. And I got them to root. And they are growing right out there in that field right now. And I will be propagating some more of those soon. Now, I don't know what it is. I've always said it was a brown turkey, but I don't know whether it was or not. I don't know what it was, but very likely that's what it was. And that house where that original fig tree was, that was the old farmhouse that my grandmother took cuttings from and moved across the highway to her dream house, is also gone. And it had to be torn down to accommodate what you call urban sprawl. So all of those fig trees were torn down. One of them was moved over by a rooted cutting over to the new house. And then before they tore that house down, I got a piece of it and brought it over here to my house, which is about 15 miles away from the big new highway that they built so that people could get to Savannah faster. And I guess they will be much happier that they can get to Savannah 15 minutes later. I mean, earlier than they used to. Did they make progress doing that? Well, guess what? There's a town over there that highway used to go right through the middle of, that you took down to Savannah. And that highway went through the middle of the little town, and there were businesses all around it. But now they have taken and bypassed that little town, and they're going 3 or 4 miles to the west with the new house that tore down my grandmother's fig tree and tore down my grandmother's house. And now people get to Savannah quicker, 15 minutes, I guess, from North Georgia. But the little town is all drying up, and people are going out of business because the cars that used to come down through there on their way to Savannah are not going there anymore. So is it progress? I say anytime you have to tear a fig tree down, and they tore down the new fig tree that she planted and the old fig trees that probably my great-grandfather planted across the highway. Is that progress? If you need to get to Savannah 15 minutes quicker than you used to, I guess it's progress. It doesn't seem to be progress to me, but I guess it's progress. So we're out here 20 miles away, so we escaped from all that and got out here, which was a long way from town then, but guess what? Progress is coming here now. And now people are moving out here now and coming all around us. Is it progress? Yeah, I guess it is. And there's my old friend right there.
I can't see.
That is Watson.
The light.
Hmm?
The light.
The light's messing it up.
It looks okay.
That's my old friend Watson the Watusi. Progress passed him by. He finally died of old age. I wish I could get that light out where you could see Watson. Let's see if I can do that without falling out of this chair and without getting electrocuted. While I'm at it. Did that help?
Oh, yeah.
Watson the Watusi. A lot of kids had a lot of laughs looking at Watson walking around out here. And one day Watson went to meet his maker. If cows do such things as that. You know those horns, people think they're real heavy? Those things are almost like styrofoam inside. They are very light. They're huge, but they're very light. Only the outside is hard. Only the outside. It's like a coating of fiberglass. All right, I have run my mouth a long time out here in the greenhouse. Here lately, we haven't been able to get to sleep real early, so we've just as well be out here doing something like this. We got this going 34 minutes. And I forgot to say greetings to the entire world from South Georgia, USA. Greetings. And greetings from Watson, the Watusi. I knew him well. And this is his legacy to be hanging in the greenhouse. We didn't eat him, by the way. Watson died of old age. And he was happy when he died. All right, this is Gardner Israel. We would like to say the Lord's Prayer with our friends out there and people that are not our friends, anybody that would do it with us. We would like to say the Lord's Prayer and praise God right now and end this video. And we'd like it if you'd say it with us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you for watching.